welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. It is Friday.
Woo!
Can you tell we're cheering?
We need to be more excited. Come on, it's Friday! Yes!
Yay!
Not that we don't love our jobs.
We do. We do. We got.
But we love the weekend too. You know what? Let me say.
Absolutely.
I have a graduation party coming up tomorrow. I just started planning it today. Just today.
You know, that sometimes works better, though. I found that, at least in my life.
That's just
It's fine.
That's a fourth child issue. Anyway, before we go any further, I'm Mary, and of course I'm joined by Kendi and Carmen and Patty.
Hello.
And later in the show, we're going to have Mary Jo Irmen visit with us, and she has a book called Farming Without the Bank and another book called Life Without the Bank. And I'm hoping she will get a book for College Without the Bank, because that's a big deal right now.
Yeah,
Four
right.
kids
For
in
sure.
college, and so I have big concerns.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've got so much to cover today. One of the things that I had heard was Biden's tweet. Did you guys see his tweet?
Yes,
One of his
I have
latest
seen it,
And
actually.
greatest tweets. Pop this up.
Latest and greatest. Come on, Mary.
The rule is now simple. Get vaccinated or wear a mask until you do. The choice is yours. Now, he just tweeted this, but yet Fauci had said something about masks or not. We don't need masks anymore. I mean, I can't even keep up with the mask or no
Right.
mask anymore. Are we back to no mask from Fauci? But masks with
Isn't
Biden?
it-
Well, it's
Isn't it if
Fauci,
you're
not
vaccinated?
Fauci. Come on.
I don't know. You know, even seeing that, I don't care. That sounds like to me really, I'll say socialist just to tone it down, but it's like I have the leader of this country, the freest country in the world, telling me, here's what you're going to do, take it or leave it, boom. It's like, no, if I want to get vaccinated, I'll get vaccinated. If I don't want to get vaccinated, I won't get vaccinated. That's being American.
That's a
But I
choice.
get to have a choice. And to have the President of the United States put a tweet out like that, but personally, I don't think he wrote it anyway, and he probably doesn't even know what it says. So that's
So,
just
right.
me.
I think he thinks that he's our babysitter.
Right. Well, there's another chart. I want to pop this one up. It's the things that you can do with a mask and what you can't do. It's like you
brother.
can walk, run, wheelchair, and play
Woo.
outdoors
Aw.
without a mask.
Oh my gosh.
But then if you move down to like the yellow zone, dine at an outdoor restaurant, no, you still need a mask.
yeah.
Okay, now this was real recent, but you guys just told me right before the show started about Fauci's announcement. I wasn't on the news today, so did he make an announcement?
I don't know.
I read a headline about it a couple days ago, and,
It's so
I
hard
did
to
not
keep up.
read it.
It
so
really
I
is.
can't.
But then down
vouch
in
for
the
that.
red category,
This is for unvaccinated people.
right?
No, on the right side, if you're fully vaccinated,
Right.
you get to
Anything you
you
want.
get
It's
to
all
live your
green.
life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
you
though
gotta
you're
you gotta
vac-
figure some stuff out. Figure out what you can and can't do if you're vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, what are we all in the green? Is that
I don't know.
us?
Is this Common Core masking rules? I'm not sure.
You know what I want to know is
Attend
if
a full capacity worship service. We've been doing that for over a year already
Yes,
up
we
here in
have.
North Dakota.
hello, yep, North
Oh,
Dakota.
you can sing in an indoor chorus.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yes.
actually, I do know
Only.
some churches that are going to start following these rules, and this is actually what makes me
But
mad.
it is the least safe. You can't
Oh.
sing in an indoor chorus.
But here's the thing: is churches, because I know there are some churches, and we talked about this on a previous show, but they were talking about these that they have to follow some of these rules, and churches are the ones who are putting pressures on their congregations to do certain things. So now here we see this thing where if you are vaccinated, you can sing in a choir and you can attend your service, and so the pressure will start coming not from all churches, but it will come from some. And it makes me mad that the churches are going to get behind this. So
Yep.
again, I'd like to say if you're a preacher, pastor, bishop, whoever you are, please stand up and represent God and not the government.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen, sister.
It's Friday.
Hey, I want to know though. I didn't see a category for talk show hosts. How do we know what we're supposed to be doing?
I
Oh.
do.
Well,
Yikes.
Guess we
Hello,
gotta do-
President Biden. Could you give us a call? We just aren't sure what we're doing.
We know you're watching, so give us a call.
but it gets better, okay? So since we're on the subjects of vaccines, there are incentives to get
I know.
vaccines, whether it's donuts or beers or everyone's doing something a little bit different. Take a look at this video.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says all pandemic health orders, including masks, will be lifted on June 2nd. Restrictions for nursing homes and assisted living facilities will stay in place. Meantime, listen to this. Governor DeWine giving $1 million away each Wednesday starting May 26th to any adult who's received at least their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. This will last for 5 weeks. Also starting May 18th for 5 straight Wednesdays, young people who have been vaccinated will be selected from a portal, and they will receive a full 4-year scholarship to State of Ohio universities. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 traveling to Ohio tonight to get to reaction.
I think lots of people would be happy with $1 million. I think money is a big incentive. You see, just like the stimulus checks, everybody's excited about those. So $1 million to get vaccinated and 5 chances of $1 million, I think is a good incentive.
I think that a lot of people are going to go for it just because they have that chance, but I am not a big fan of it. I am not going to get the vaccine, and this is not going to sway me in any way.
The Ohio Lottery will conduct the drawings, and the money will come from existing federal pandemic relief dollars.
Tax dollars.
Yeah, and it says it's coming from pandemic relief dollars. That is our
Our
tax
money.
Wow.
It is
5
not the
million.
government's money. 5 million, and then also 4 years of college. That's say at
For 5
$20,000
students.
a year. That's $80,000 times 4. That's another $400,000. That's our tax money that is paying for these incentives. There's other states that are giving away cars. And it's like it's all this random lottery stuff,
Right.
which is very, when you think about it, you're down and out. I mean, everyone's a little bit, a lot of people are behind. Who wouldn't want to take a chance to win $1 million? But to risk your life for
Right.
$1 million, I don't think so.
Well, and I mean, whoever wins that money, you get vaccinated and you win the $1 million, well, you're going to have to probably use that because you're going to get sick possibly. So this is so evil. I'm sorry.
It's
For
wrong.
a vaccine to have these type of incentives, it screams to me there is something wrong with what's happening and we cannot trust the process. And it's sad because science should not be this way, and it's completely undermined so many people trusting the scientific approach, and this is sad.
Exactly. How often have you ever heard of people being incentivized to go and get a shot for their own good? And the people of Ohio, I mean, I hope they sit back and say, how many times have I won the lottery with the thousands of dollars
Right.
I've spent on tickets to win the lottery? And what's it worth, really? But the thing that really, really upset me, it's not even so much that as the thing with the college, because we have programmed our kids, and it's true. College is very, in my mind, sometimes it's overrated and it's way overpaid. And so this is for kids 12 and up because they have to be under 18 when they get the vaccine to go into this scholarship drawing. And so that's their encouragement for these young kids to go in and get a shot, which they don't know 5 years from now you could be on your deathbed then because they don't know the long-term effects of this thing.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, I know what's in $1 million. I don't know what's in the vaccine.
Right.
Right.
So I'm not going to sell my soul. And I think if people, I know lots of loved ones that have gotten the vaccine, fine. But when you have to dangle $1 million in front of people
Right.
to get the vaccine, make the decision separate from the money. You don't sell your soul.
Yeah.
No,
And
yeah.
where's the
Or your
voice of
body.
my body, my choice when, wear the mask or
Right,
you're in
right.
trouble?
Well, the story is ongoing and will never end anytime soon. But coming up next, we're going to talk to Mary Jo Irmen with Farming Without the Bank. I can't wait to visit with her. Stick around. We'll be right back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are so happy to have Mary Jo Irmen join us. I've heard so much about her in the last few years, and I have not read the book, planning on reading it very, very soon. But she has a book called Farming Without the Bank, and she has a second book that we can get into a little bit later, Life Without the Bank. So Mary Jo, why don't you just kind of give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Well, I grew up on a farm ranch operation in western North Dakota, and my dad was a purebred breeder, not black, sorry.
That's all right, you can still stay.
Yeah. And so I mean, obviously I eventually left, and then I found the infinite banking concept and thought, this is absolutely perfect for farmers, and they go through so much money, they need to know this. And it's an industry that I absolutely love. And so when I found the people that I love to work with, then and they're kind of stubborn, you know?
You think?
Yeah, and they said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. This won't work. I'm like, oh, yes, I will. So I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to make you read it so that you understand why it's going to work. And so here we are.
So what is the infinite banking concept?
So the infinite banking concept is a thought process around money that we've not been taught, but with that thought process, we wrap in the use of whole life insurance so that we become the banker rather than going to the bank and borrowing money from them.
Okay, so explain it to us. Give us the Cliff Note version of your book.
So the big piece of that is that you're going to be able to you're going to create your own pool of money. And you're going to go there to borrow your money, which is going to be the life insurance policy. So we're going to borrow money from there rather than going to the bank to borrow money. So now you have control of that money. So if you can't sell calves, if you can't sell grain because prices are low, you don't have to, because you can pay it back whenever you want to pay it back. You don't have to pay it back when the bank wants you to pay it back. So it's really just, and it doesn't matter if you're farming or not farming. Same thing with your college. I was laughing over there as I heard you talking about 4 of them in college, because in Life Without the Bank, I actually have a whole scenario for college and why you should not be paying cash for your kids' college. And you should be building that money someplace else. So the reason we're using the life insurance policy is because the second you put the money in the policy, you have uninterrupted compound interest the rest of your life. And the life insurance policy is really the only tool that allows us to do that. Everything else we do, We put it in savings, we drain it, and it stops growing. We put it in a 401k or an IRA, we have to drain it, it stops growing. We're always interrupting everything. And life insurance allows us not to do that.
So where did you come up with this concept? I mean, is it something that you stumbled upon? Like, where did you find this?
Yeah, I'm not that smart.
Well, okay, so share with us. I'm
come up with
super
this on my
curious.
own.
So how did you come up?
I was actually, somebody had called me and said, hey, do you want to work in an office, just an office setting selling life insurance? And I said, nope, I hate life insurance, don't want anything to do with it, no thank you. But I was always looking for ways to invest my money. And I did not believe in the stock market, and I never liked it because there was always too much risk for me. I'm very conservative. And I came upon the infinite banking concept developed by a gentleman in Birmingham, Alabama, Nelson Nash. And so he just passed away a little over 2 years ago at 88. So he was my mentor for a good 10 years before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's been using life insurance. Here's his story, which is way better than my story. In the 80s, he got stuck with 23% interest, and he didn't know how he was going to pay for it. Well, he had money sitting in his life insurance policies, and he borrowed that money at 5 to 8% interest, paid off the snakes and dragons, as he called them, and then he just paid himself back. And being a life insurance agent, he thought, well, how fast can I get money into this so that I can turn around and borrow it at a lower interest rate?
Yeah.
And he figured out how to do that with the policies, and so he's just shared that with us, and now there's infinite banking practitioners all over the country, and we share it, and I just specialize. To this point, I've really specialized in the farming industry.
So tell us a success story of, say, one of your customers or someone that has used it and say they were behind on stuff, besides the person that you just mentioned, some local success stories.
Mm-hmm. So I have a gentleman on the western side of the state who we started his stuff, and he was working at the mine, and everything was great, and he was going to take over the ranch in, probably 10 years, and ended up, Dad got sick, had a tumor, brain tumor, and he needed to take over the ranch sooner. So he's put money into his policy. We've borrowed against it. Well, he's borrowed against it to buy cattle, buy equipment, whatever. And he's not paid any of that back until this year. So he's had a loan for about 9 years, paid interest only, just so that he can build his operation without having all that bank control and all that. Really, the bank takes, in the farming industry, the bank is taking your livelihood as collateral. There's really not another industry that does that, that I'm aware of. Like, I have a business, but my livelihood isn't collateral to those loans. And so he had that leeway to say, you know what, I can buy these bulls, because he's bought bulls with most of that money, and some cattle. So I can have these cattle, but I don't have to sell. I just have to make whatever note I have at the bank. That's paid off, and now we can move to the policy, really.
Sure, and then as that policy is technically charging him interest, when he pays that back, he's basically paying himself back, correct? Is that how that kind of works?
The principal is going back to him, but that is a huge misconception. The interest is going to the insurance company.
Oh, it is.
Your money is earning interest because it never left the account. So let's say that you have $10,000 of cash value. You borrow against it. So your money stays in there earning your compound interest and dividends while the bank lends you their money, or the life insurance company lends you their money at an interest rate.
Right. And a lot of insurance policies then, do they disclose like your guaranteed rate of such and such on your policy, or does that fluctuate, or?
So the guaranteed rate is actually based on a formula. So everybody's guaranteed rate is a little bit different.
Okay.
And a lot of people want to say, well, what is my guaranteed rate? Because I want to compare it to my IRA, or I want to compare it to my 401k. And this is not about a rate of return, which is the hardest thing for people to understand.
Sure.
It's about liquidity, control, and guarantees. We don't have liquidity in a 401k or an IRA until we're 59 and a half. right? We don't have guarantees in there. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. We're guaranteed we're going to lose probably every 10 years. And then it's going to come back. And we don't have control of those payback terms. If we're going to borrow against our 401k, they garnish our wages every month. If we quit our job, we have to pay it back right away at that time. And so it's not, and Nelson was very, very adamant that this is a concept. This is not about a rate of return.
Right.
However, there is a rate of return, and it's based on a formula.
All right, and
Super
so a
interesting.
lot of those formulas are also available, or the whole concept is you can do it just in life in general, like people with home loans, boat loans, car loans, that type of thing, and then students as well.
Yes.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get into that. So many questions. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and then we can touch on those topics, because I know there's just a plethora. I have a plethora of questions. And I know you guys do too, and you can always send questions into us. But we'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Pack the house in honor of North Dakota's heroes with Bucks Football Saturday, May 15th, as the Bucks go to battle against the Green Bay Blizzard. Help us honor Gold Star families, wounded warriors, and veterans alike. All veterans and family general admission tickets are free with military ID. Call 701-595-0771 for tickets and more information.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
But how will we?
The car! Your offer's been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are visiting with Mary Jo Irmen with Farming Without the Bank and Life Without the Bank, and soon to be out, College Without the Bank. Right? Please?
It's actually out already, Mary. It's in the
is?
Life Without the Bank book for
Oh.
you. I'll leave one of those for you today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And me.
So tell me a little bit about the life insurance. Okay, some people have life insurance, some people don't have life insurance. So how does someone start? Like a lot of these young farmers, I would assume, don't have a lot of cash value built up in their life insurance policy. So what do they do?
Most people just don't have any. And so then they become the GoFundMe account. And so it is and there's a typical funeral's like $15,000. So that's just the funeral. And until the death benefit was always a tag along for me for many, many years, until I have a close friend that lost her husband. And he had 10 grand of life insurance. And she really struggled to pay the bills and make sure, and to take the time off. So a lot of people think too, well, life insurance is just so that I can pay for my expenses. Expenses are nothing. Like, the expenses can get paid, but you have to mourn. You have to if you have children, chances are you're gonna have to mourn and help them mourn and just get back to life. And that's gonna take time off of work, which is going to be an income loss. But the young farmers, they're starting at many different, most of them don't have life insurance. If they do, it's term insurance, but they don't have whole life insurance. So we're starting anywhere between $3,000 a year to $20,000 a year. You know, and a lot of my farmers are linemen, they're construction workers, they have good off the farm jobs. And so they have a nice income to start before they maybe have kids or a family. And so if I get somebody that's single, because I have male and female single, you know, they don't have kids, they don't have wives draining their account. And so I'm like, stick as much in as you can now, because a premium is flexible. You don't have to pay that full premium every single year if you can't.
All right. That's
interesting.
Yeah, this whole concept is interesting. It really is. I can't wait to dig in.
And does your book cover what to look for if you're out shopping for a whole life policy, what to look for, and make sure it's in the fine print or whatever?
It does, because there are whole life policies, and then there are variable universal policies, there are universal policies, there are indexed universal policies. So most agents will say, oh, I'm going to sell you whole life. And then I see it, and I'm like, it's not whole life. It's an indexed or universal or a variable. And all those are tied to the market. A true whole life policy, and I'm writing them only with a mutual company because they're going to pay a dividend. And so those policies are not based on the market. Those companies do not give you a return that says, oh, if the market does X, Y, and Z. And we're seeing that the majority of those universal variable indexed are collapsing because they were written in the 80s when, you know, the market was doing 15% rates of return. Well, that's not happening. And we're not paying enough insurance to cover all the fees and the charges.
So is there a point in a person's life where it's too late for them to purchase a whole life policy? What's your opinion on that?
There can be.
Okay, so share more.
So you can always get insurance on other people. So that's kind of a trick question. As far as age goes, right now, 85 is as late as a company will write insurance on somebody. For me personally, it has to financially make sense. So 70 to 80 right now is very iffy with just where all the numbers are laying on the illustrations. 60 to 70, we're still pretty good. But it really depends what we're using it for, what we want it for. I did one last year. I had a client that passed away, and mom didn't have life insurance. And so we took some of dad's death benefit. We bought a policy on her because there's nothing. That's all he had, because he was a farmer and he worked until the day he passed away, you know? And so that's all we have for the kids to bury her and take care of the little bit of estate that there will be. So occasionally it makes sense to maybe do something on somebody that's in the 70s, but for me, it's pretty rare.
So when you talk about your other book, Life Without the Bank, what kind of, because we farm and ranch, so I get that, the farm without the bank. What is Life Without the Bank? Is that for home loans or for car loans? What is that all about?
It is almost exactly the same as Farming Without the Bank. It's just examples that don't include, you know, $1 million operating notes.
Yeah.
And so it really it covers student loans. It's going to cover buying boats and houses, and it's really geared toward entrepreneurs who are. I went to the bank to get a loan, and they're like, well, I need to see 11 months of bank statements. Well, how are you making your money? Why does it fluctuate? Oh my gosh, do we really need to ask a million silly questions?
Right.
Come on. Yeah. Like if you can't check a box at the bank, they just don't know what to do with you. And so it's geared towards everybody outside of, it's just different analogies in the book.
So do you have a couple examples of people that you have helped? Let's say college, for example.
There's a theme with her.
Just for something different.
I'm catching that theme.
I actually have a client that bought a policy and put enough cash value in there, enough money towards cash value, because the policy is structured that some money goes to death benefit, some money goes right to cash value. So we're borrowing it in 7 to 10 days. He put the money in, he borrowed it, paid for child number 1 to go to college. By the time the twins came along, the money was all paid back, so now we're gonna borrow it to pay for the twins to go to college. And he's, he structured his payments back so that that money was gonna be there for the twins. The kids he didn't need an excessive amount of money because they had scholarships and some grants and those sort of things. But yeah, he used it specifically. That policy is specifically for college.
That's so cool. I'm super intrigued by this, I have to say.
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking a lot of times about how to invest money. And so I'm going to read your book because I really am intrigued by the potential that's there.
So are you saying that instead of opening, say, an IRA or something like that today, it's better to buy a whole life insurance policy and dump money in there, that it's going to grow faster there than it will in IRA and less risky?
So I have a whole chapter called The Market Scam. So that question is kind of loaded to me. Okay. Yes, I'm going to say that it is. A financial advisor is going to say no. We are not talking about rates of return, right? We're talking about liquidity of money. So if we put our money into a 401k or an IRA, we have to wait till we're 59 and a half. Now the rule is 72, you have to take it. So if you have money at 72 that you don't need, you have to take it or the government's going to charge you a 50% tax on what they're requiring you to take, okay? So they're controlling that. In a life insurance policy, if I'm 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, I can put that money in there and what? I can then borrow against it and buy land and start a business and buy rental properties and do all these other things outside the policy that is going to also earn me a rate of return.
Interesting.
So if let's say you have this policy and you borrow this money for whatever, and you're paying back the interest and you're paying back the principal and you die. The money that you borrowed from that policy, is that subtracted off the death benefit to your survivors?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, because the cash value, this is a little confusing, but the cash value is today's present value of the future death benefit. So they're allowing you to use some of that death benefit in advance. So you don't get to have both.
Right. Okay, so we have less than a minute, and I just want to, how can we buy your books? Where can people find your book?
You can go to withoutthebank.com and you can get it there, or you can go to farmingwithoutthebank.com and get it there.
And do you have books like right here, because you have an office in Bismarck. Do you keep, like, can someone stop by and buy a book?
We actually are working out of our home now.
Oh,
because
you are?
I have clients in 39 states, I think. So most of my clients are outside of North Dakota. So we'll mail it to you.
All right. Well, I
Okay.
do want to thank you. Very
Yes.
interesting, very intriguing. And if anyone wants to get a hold of you, farmingwithoutthebank.com is where they can find you. And check it out, guys. We all have to help each other.
That's right.
All right. So we'll be back after this with, we're going to talk a little bit about fuel prices. That should be interesting right after this on Ladies with Another View on Back.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. Wasn't that interesting?
Oh my God. Yes,
Way
I'm so
beyond,
excited.
way beyond.
I mean, it's just so interesting because, you know, we've been farming and ranching for years and it's getting tough out there. It really is.
Yeah.
And so if there's anything that, you know, people can get done, I mean, we love our banker, I'll be honest, 100%. In fact, it's Dakota Community Bank, and I'll say that out loud because they advertise right here too. And they love Beck. Great relationship. But, you know, sometimes, you know, people have to switch things up a little bit. So
Right,
Be creative.
it's all, it's interesting.
It's really thinking out of the box, you know? So
Yeah. Absolutely. So anyway, we're going to hop right into the fuel issues. Did you guys know that there's been some issues?
Just a little.
sure.
But I'm not on the East Coast.
The East Coast, I mean, it's so crazy because right now, last week, and they say it's the Russians say it wasn't them, but a fuel line was hacked. A pipeline was hacked where they actually shut off the line. There was no fuel coming in that line, and it feeds over 50% of the East Coast. It was just unbelievable. And so that is all done, not because people are turning valves or anything, it's because they're pushing buttons behind a screen.
Yep.
And so when you think of our security in this country, just think of what can happen.
It is crazy. I mean, we rely so much on technology and how easy it is to take control and to create chaos. It's just, it is frightening.
And it was chaotic. And let me show you the, I think I have that. It is the, they had an apology. And that's what's so crazy. The people that hacked it, they actually had an apology. And they said, our goal is to make money and not creating problems for society.
No duh.
Dark Side wrote on its website.
Nice nickname.
And it said the U.S. issued emergency legislation on Sunday after Colonial Pipeline was hit by a ransomware cyber attack. The pipeline carries 2.5 million barrels a day, 45% of the East Coast supply of diesel, petrol, and jet fuel. I mean, so that affects the airlines, it affects the truckers, it affects everybody. 45% of the country, and it was shut off by pushing a few buttons, you know, hacking.
Right.
And you know, I was just at the Williston Basin Petroleum Council Expo here in Bismarck the last few days, and I was talking with someone there, and we got talking about that shutdown. And as of right now, the federal government doesn't protect all of our pipelines in this country as part of our critical infrastructure. It's not part of what they're doing, and that's just mind-boggling to me because, like you said, there's not physical turning the valves to shut things off anymore. It's all with the push of a button on a computer, and that's not being secured by our federal government as far as, I mean, that's protection that we need. You look at a map of all the pipelines in the United States, I mean, there's thousands of them. It's crazy, and they're not protected.
Right.
That's crazy.
So I want to show you how they had in the same article, how you can go ahead and do it, or how they did it. If we can pop that up real quick. All the devices used to run a modern pipeline are controlled by computers rather than people controlling physically. If they're connected to an organization's internal network and it gets hit with a cyber attack, then the pipeline itself is vulnerable to malicious attacks. But they also had pointed out the different ways. Here we go. Direct attacks on operational technology are rare because these systems are usually better protected, experts say. But some of the biggest attacks we've seen all started with an email. So they send out an email, and then an employee might have been tricked into downloading some malware, and that's how it all gets started. There's a password, and then boom, they're in that. Hackers will usually use any chance they can get to get a foothold in there. So that's the crazy part.
That is crazy. You know, I have a personal experience with that where my computer was hacked. Someone had called me, and this was a few years ago, and they said that they were working for a company that I trusted, and they needed to get access to my computer. And because I trusted them, I gave them access to my computer as I sat there. Let me tell you, I learned a painful lesson because we lost money and they got into files. So, yeah, I mean, I can see how easy that could happen.
Sure.
We have somebody in charge of cyber security here at Beck that's going to be on our show in another week or two. We're going to talk about that because it is scary. It's a whole new world that we never had to deal with before, and we're so helpless. You know, I had my Twitter account hacked, disappeared, and I had, you know, quite a few followers, you know, several thousand followers, all because I clicked on a news story. But it wasn't a real news story, and I went, and there was like, what did I just go to? There's nothing here, so I clicked out, and my account was gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then, but keeping on the subject of fuel,
Sorry,
right now, I
rabbits.
know, it's like rabbit
Squirrels.
holes here. Gas shortage, right? So this was predicted that it might happen because of all the pipelines that are being threatened to be closed because of the Biden administration. And now there are 4 states and DC that have lost 50% of the capacity for fuel. It's like 50% of their gas stations are out of fuel right now. So then what are people doing? They're starting to hoard. And let's take a look at this. These are people filling up. This is like
It's
worse
toilet paper again.
Yeah. It's like toilet paper 2.0, basically. This guy, look at this. And how unsafe is that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That
know.
is so dangerous.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. If we want to pop up the next one. There we go.
That's crazy.
Let's just go ahead, and then how do you get that gasoline out of there, right? You know, you have to have a pump to get it out. But my favorite one is this gal here. Let's just fill up a Rubbermaid tub.
I read an article where they were actually having grocery bags they were filling with gasoline. How do you even do that? That's crazy.
That's going to evaporate.
So, I mean, it
to tell
does
you.
signal to us who are living in a place where we're not experiencing this, and I hope, I
Fingers
hope it
crossed.
doesn't happen, but I mean, they're desperate. They're scared. They're not able to get around. I mean, we rely so much on modern transportation, and so I can sympathize with them. They're scared to death.
Yeah.
And they really are. And it's like, and it's harder to store than toilet paper,
Oh,
shall
heck
we
yeah.
say?
And you know, Energy Transfer Partners, I'm going to back up to the conference again, the expo, but Energy Transfer Partners was there, and they said DAPL has had a lot of attempts at hacking into the DAPL pipeline to disrupt what we've got going right here. You know,
Wow.
so.
Yeah,
I
it's
have a bike.
ongoing. It's ongoing. I tell you what, that story isn't going to end because I just have a feeling that a lot of this is going to continue across the nation over the summer. In fact, some of the
sure.
gas prices, they were charging them like $10 a gallon
Oof.
because of the shortage. So you
gouging.
have that on the flip side. There,
Yeah.
or, you know, I know that had happened. When was it? It was about 15, maybe almost 20 years ago, right here in Bismarck. Oh gosh, I can't remember. Oh, when the towers were hit, there
sure.
were some gas stations that were charging like $5, $6, $7 a gallon, and
Right.
Bismarck and the state put a stop to that when stations go ahead and try something like that.
And the airlines are just now starting to bounce back. And, you know, what's this going to do for them
Yeah.
with the price of airline fuel?
Yeah.
It's going to be.
So it might be a good time for everyone to consider buying a bike. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. I
personally,
have
I'm
one.
grateful I have one because I want to be able to get around. So
Oh my
if you don't
gosh.
have one, go get a bike.
Yeah.
Be prepared. Don't
Not a
hoard
motorized
gas.
bike, just
I
a
have a bike,
pedal
yeah.
bike. Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Right. But I had even thought of that because that happened, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Okay, but I'm going to put this out there. A few years back, they started putting bike lanes in Bismarck, but there's not a whole lot of people biking in Bismarck.
No,
And I thought,
right.
is there something? I think it was when Obama was elected.
Yes.
It was just kind of odd how all of a sudden, you know, these bike lanes were going in, but you don't see people utilizing
No,
them.
because it's dangerous. I ride my bike all the
Yeah,
time.
it
Like,
is
why do you want to
dangerous.
ride your bike in traffic? Because nobody knows about these bike lanes. There are some cities like Eugene, Oregon, there's places where everybody knows this is a bike lane. Not here in Bismarck, but there was money to be had.
Yeah.
An
use it or
exorbitant
lose it.
amount.
Yep, use it
So
or
they
lose
took
it.
the money and said, go ahead, paint some bike lanes in.
Yeah.
But I don't ride
Crazy.
on those.
And the hackers got paid in Bitcoin, and they can't trace then who they were.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So that put a whole new spin on the whole
Wow.
cryptocurrency market as well. So I think there's more to come on this story as far as finances and investing. And
You know
things
what's
like that.
interesting is these developed countries, we live very well, but we're so dependent now on computer technology. And if anything crashes and everything falls apart, it's going to be the third world countries that won't even have a blip on the radar screen in some ways.
Sure. All right. Well, we got a lot more to talk about, but we're going to leave for right now and be back with the lighter side after this on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to pull them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. So one of the things that I love is anything patriotic. So this is the lighter side, and sometimes we're kind of heavy on our lighter side, but this lighter side is one of our lighter sides, if that makes sense.
Heartwarming.
Yes. And with Memorial Day coming up in a couple of weeks, I just trying to get more patriotic feelings out there. So take a look at this video. So I'm sorry, the sound wasn't the best on that, but basically here they are on a Marine base. They're out there playing just like kids do on swing sets and just having a great time, and the taps start for the end of the day. And so they just, they've been trained, from day one to respect the taps, respect the flag, and this is what they do.
I love that. And I loved how, they were standing still and then it was done and they're like, okay, we can go back and play now.
Yeah, the one
that
gal
was
did
super
a
cool.
little twist.
Yeah, I
and
love that. She
put her
kicked
foot
her foot.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cute.
And I guess there's so many people who don't appreciate the freedoms that we have in our country, you know? And so when you see it, that these kids get it. They get it. They get the respect for the flag. And then you have people burning the flag at, all of these protests and that type of stuff. And those people don't get it. That's the part that is so frustrating to me. I just, I have a hard time with that.
I do too. So I guess it was probably yesterday at Century High School in Bismarck. The band and then the choir, they did the Star Spangled Banner. And my daughter, her birthday was yesterday and she was 17, she talked about them performing that. And she said, Mom, I have never heard it done so beautifully. She said it brought tears to my eyes. And so I'm grateful that within the school system, they would do something that would promote national pride and that it was done so well that, it affected my daughter. So kudos to you.
That's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
And another plug for Century High, but their band uniforms are very colonial.
Yes.
And
well, they're
when
the Century Patriots.
Yes, even when they march, whenever their band marches, like in the Band Day Parade, I'll get tears in my eyes many times, just because of how they march. And it's like they're so respecting the whole patriot pride in our country. It's just, if you've never watched the march, Band Day's coming up, I believe.
It's today.
It's today. Okay,
right.
yeah, check it out.
Yeah, you meant to say that, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Right, and I hate that patriotism almost has become politically divisive. Like, what is up with that?
Right.
We should all have an element of patriotism. Yeah, there's always going to be things you don't like, and then you can work against it. but we are United States citizens. We should be happy. We have chosen not to go live somewhere else, so let's have some pride in our country. And it really angers me that it's become politically divisive, like you can't be patriotic.
Right.
We do need more of it.
Yes.
And you know, another thing that we were just talking about yesterday on our show, as far as the veterans organizations, and for the American Legion Club, I'll put a plug in for them too. They always sell poppies, and it's a certain kind of poppy, and there's another organization that sells a little bit different poppy. But I was in a small town, and it's amazing how many small towns in North Dakota still have an American Legion Club, and they're selling the old-fashioned poppies, and so I had to hurry up and get a bunch of them because it just took me back to my youth.
That's
so.
You know, I'm going to put a plug in because in the My Hometown series that we have right here on Ladies of Another View, we are going to be in Center. And that's going to air on Wednesday, and the American Legion will be on that.
Oh,
I grew
nice.
up, when I was little, I used to sell poppies door to door for 10 cents a piece.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They sent all the American Legion kids out, and he sold poppies. And it's their fundraiser, and it's just, you know, great for America. They just do so much for America. So we have less than a minute. Do you guys have a quick final thought?
Oh, it's so sunny. Go outside and go to the parade if you can. It'll be amazing.
Yes, let's put a plug in for that.
6:30.
And another reflection from when I was a kid, those same organizations do poppy posters as well, and kids draw them and color them and have their own banners they put on them, and they're very meaningful. If you ever get a chance to look in windows of stores, they're probably there.
That's cool.
All right, so we'll see you at the parade tonight, I hope.
Yes.
I hope so too. All right, and I have a graduation tomorrow. It's my fourth child, and I'm going to mug Mary Jo after the after the show tonight. We're going to talk about college, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's my last one, but graduation party, and can't wait for life to get going again, the next stage. So anyway, thank you for being with us here, and share your views with us as well. Thanks for joining us, Ladies of Another View on Back.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.